Okay, so in this reading, I looked at the connection between SUNOO and SUNGHOON from ENHYPEN. Listen, this reading got away from me. I was really kind of unexpected. I was trying to read the energy as honestly as I could. It started to sound like a K-drama, I'll be honest. And I'm not trying to claim anyone's sexuality or sexual preferences whatsoever. I was just reading the energy. Don't shoot the messenger if you can help it. Of course, everything I say is all alleged and for entertainment purposes only, and with peace and love, and with respect. I'm trying to be so respectful. Let's go. Okay, SUNOO will be on the left, SUNGHOON will be on the right, and this is the energy in between. SUNOO, that's like a lack of like rebirth, or sometimes like moving forward. Sometimes it's also like reinventing yourself. SUNGHOON showed up as the Six of Swords, which is like transition, moving away. The King of Swords in the middle. Sometimes that can be like a lack of communication. Sometimes it can be like dishonesty, but not necessarily in well, sometimes actually. There's also another meaning, and whatever. I don't want to say that right now. That can be like, oh, is SUNOO doing okay? That's like emotional unfulfillment, but it would be related to this relationship in some way, like dissatisfaction. SUNGHOON showed up as the Queen of Wands, which is sometimes like a lack of like drive or power or like fiery energy. Oh, but like oddly enough, like SUNGHOON, like him getting this card, I looked at it and I was like, I think SUNGHOON sometimes thinks SUNOO is a diva. Mostly because of the word, I was like diva. But it would be like that energy is directed at SUNOO. The energy in the middle is the Ace of Cups, which is like, sometimes like the beginning or the start of something new emotionally. Sometimes it would be like a flowing of emotion. SUNOO got the 10 of Swords, which sometimes can be like what goes around comes around. Sometimes it can be like pinned down or like almost like weighed down strongly by your thoughts in a negative way. The King of Wands, SUNOO showed up as, which again, this is like a pair. There's like undertones happening. I'm afraid to talk about them. This happens a lot in K-pop readings. It's hard to like read about K-pop when like sexual things come up, because I'm like, I don't know how to like broach the subject. I would say I'm a very open person, so like I literally don't care, but I know some people would be like super upset. The Magician in the middle though is like manifestation, getting what you want, like creating things. Okay. Let's keep going. And I guess if the theme keeps coming up, I'll talk about it. Oh my god. Okay, well, I mean, like, SUNOO's cards have all been, not in, like, the most favorable positions, because the Queen of Pentacles would be, like, a lack of nurturing. Sometimes it's feeling taken care of. Sometimes it's also, like, not being able to, like, nourish or, like, cultivate something that you want, or that failing in some way. SUNGHOON showed up as the 8 of Wands, which is like fast moving movement. What card did he get? And this is about transition. Sometimes it's being uninspired though. And the 8 of Swords is like being bound up. There's something that they're not saying to one another. There's like, the energy in between them literally is like when you want to tell somebody something and you're like holding back because you're like, oh, I don't know how they're going to react. Like IDK. I'm like really, I want to say what I see so badly, but like, okay. I'm going to preface this. It's okay if you get mad at me. I'm just reading the energy. Allegedly for entertainment purposes only. And again, I still don't really know like a ton about ENHYPEN or the lore between SUNGHOON and SUNOO. But what I think might be happening based on the energy is actually SUNGHOON might have like a tiny bit of a crush on SUNOO. The thing is, SUNGHOON, what I know about the guy is he's very reserved. Especially, I did a reading on him between him and Wonyoung, and that was the energy he was giving. Very reserved, very like buttoned up, kind of straight and narrow, very like work heavy, very like not uptight, but just one of those people that's very stoic. What I've seen of SUNOO is like baby girl, very like playful, kind of like a kitten, you know, just like cute and like sunshine. It's interesting though because his energy is almost giving like, I think their relationship is very complicated, mostly because of like things that are not said between them. SUNGHOON, I should also back up, I don't think it's like head over heels, like oh my god, like I want to be with this guy, kind of a crush. It's sort of just like, I think sometimes crushes, people almost limit them to like whatever gender you're interested in, but it's almost like SUNGHOON has a really strong fondness for SUNOO, and it's kind of like a crush. Like it's like oh, he makes me laugh, or like he makes me feel things or something. And again, I'm not saying I'm stressed out. I'm not saying that SUNGHOON is like of a certain like sexual orientation. If I were to guess, I would say that he is maybe bi-curious at best. But like what I am saying, and I'm not labeling anyone, I'm not saying anything, but I am saying that there seems to be some sort of indication that Sunghoon has something that is like unexpressed in him and his feelings to Sunoo. It's almost like I see him like blushing. Like in my mind's eye, I see Sunghoon looking over at Sunoo and like blushing. And again, it's not necessarily like horribly like sexual either. It's just sort of like, oh, like he makes me, it's sort of like if you've ever had like a crush on your friend. That's the vibe it's giving. Surprisingly. I mean not I don't know the guys, but like I was like, I would have kind of guessed it would have been the other way around. But that's like Sunghoon's energy. It's almost like it seems almost like he distances himself from Sunoo because he's like, I don't know how to deal with these emotions or these thoughts, and like it's very, I also feel like Sunghoon is just a little bit more like reserved generally, so it's like, I also feel like Korean culture doesn't necessarily facilitate like men loving men really like that, so I feel like he's just sort of like, I guess I'll like go over here, especially because all of his energy is directing away from Sunoo, but it's sort of like there's a lot of like, whatever. Sunoo showed up, like a lot of his cards are honestly very negative, but it's interesting because this would be in the context of their relationship, and to me it seems almost like he feels almost dissatisfied in their relationship or something like that, or there's something that is not being nurtured or maybe expressed. I don't know what it is. It's not like unhappy, like his energy does not give unhappy necessarily. It doesn't give, it just is sort of like a dissatisfaction, like that itch isn't being scratched or that thing isn't being talked about. I don't really know if Sunoo knows what Sunghoon feels like. A strong part of me feels like he doesn't. I feel like Sunghoon keeps things very under wraps. I don't know, I think if you were friends with Sunghoon, he's a hard person to read, and I don't think he's super expressive all the time about like who he is. Like he's just reserved. Like that's a really big word that comes to mind when I think of Sunghoon. Sunoo, like, I don't know. His energy, I will also say, is not very strong. Again, which is, in the reading I did between Sunghoon and Wonyoung, Sunghoon's energy was again very strong, and that's the same here. Like Sunoo's not super present. It's sort of just like, if I look at his pile, it's like dissatisfaction. When I look at Sunghoon, there's like a lot of storylines going on. The energy in between, though, again, would be like something being left unsaid. This can also sometimes indicate like being bound up by your thoughts, and your thoughts are limiting you. This is a lack of merriment, a lack of, I saw that in the reading between Sunoo and Heesung, where Sunoo feels like people aren't telling him things, or like people undermine him. And this would be in the broader context of hype, or like enhypen in some way. I think I think Sunoo is just kind of going through something where it's like, I think he feels dissatisfaction maybe with how people view him, or maybe how his career is going, or how he's being treated in some way. Because again, it's like the energy is giving almost like people undermine him, or I think he doesn't have the abilities or skills or something that he does. I don't know. It's giving like underdog. People think I'm the underdog, and it's like, no, I'm like, great. Believe me. And the energy in between. Sunghoon showed up as the Hierophant, which is doing things differently. The strength in the reverse position would be like being disempowered in some way. It's interesting. It's not like, I mean, the energy in between them isn't super like strong. Like there's a lot going on connection-wise. It does seem like they're coworkers, they're friends, they enjoy each other's company. It seems like Sunoo is kind of in his own world, kind of like caught up in his own thoughts. But again, I want to emphasize, I don't think Sunoo was particularly unhappy or in distress. It's just sort of like there's almost like a frustration or like a lack of fulfillment going on. Sunghoon, it's like this is like trying to do things differently. I feel like Sunghoon is maybe on a journey of exploring himself. I think he just does it. He's just kind of like an internal, introverted guy. So his inner world is a lot more vivid than his outer world, I would say. The strength card, though, I feel like Sunghoon is just wrestling with something internal. I think it's more just like his expectations of himself. I don't really feel like he is to a degree worried about what other people think, but I think he's more so worried. What he expects of himself and what is popping up in terms of thoughts and feelings are very different. Like your image of yourself versus what's happening. Sunoo showed up as the Nine of Pentacles. It's looking back, dissatisfied again. Sunghoon showed up as the Two of Swords, which is, oh my god, literally this is written all over the walls. And I say this so respectfully, like I do feel like Sunghoon is going through something, because this card sometimes can also talk about being like split in two different directions. And I feel like, and I say this so respectfully, I'm not trying to start drama, I'm not trying to, and also, if you have a problem with this, maybe like do some self-reflection. I feel like Sunghoon is like maybe a little bit bi-curious, or maybe, and I don't think these are thoughts that pop up a lot, I don't think these are things that are unexplored, this is literally in his energy. And it's almost like, I think he kind of looks to Sunoo, just because Sunoo is a little bit more feminine, as like, as a man, you know, like a little bit more flamboyant, and so it's like I think he looks at him and is like, like that's an option, like I could have. And I think it's just not something he maybe has entertained as seriously before. It's not, and the thing is, I think Sunoo was kind of like a placeholder. Like he's a nice guy, and like, you know, we have fun and we work together, but it's sort of like, I think this would be almost like a gateway to Sunghoon maybe exploring other opportunities, or maybe different partners or different genders or whatever. This is burden though. But it's like walking towards SUNGHOON. But the burden could be on SUNGHOON's side. I feel like SUNOO, like, ooh, I don't know, I feel like there's almost like a wall up. Like, SUNOO thinks there's a wall up that SUNGHOON has put up between them, but that's not really what's going on. It's almost like SUNGHOON just has a lot of thoughts and, like, ideas going on. The connection is, like, two parallel lines, so, like, they never intersect, really, is the energy. It's sort of like they're in their own worlds. Like, they're literally just, like, friends. They're homies. And, like, SUNOO just, like, I don't know, I think he's mostly preoccupied with himself, but, like, occasionally he'll look over at SUNGHOON and be like, what's he doing over there? What's he thinking? Like, I don't think SUNOO really knows what's going on. I mean, that's a possibility, but it doesn't seem like it, because I think SUNGHOON, their names are so similar. I think SUNGHOON, like, reserves a lot of his what's going on. So SUNOO's just like, something's going on with SUNGHOON, but I don't know what it is. That's awakening. That's, like, not speaking. Wheel of Fortune. Tides are turning. Awakening. Oh, I think SUNOO might at some point realize what's going on with SUNGHOON. I don't know if he'll say anything, but this would be like the tides turning. I actually feel like SUNOO was a little bit more open, not in terms of like sexual acts, but like the concept of it, the thought of like being with different genders or trying, you know, maybe non-traditional types of relationships or formations, etc. I think just naturally that's more his personality, to be more open to different ideas and possibilities than SUNGHOON's is. I could see him maybe figuring it out at some point, or like through hints or stuff like that. SUNGHOON showed up as an Ace of Swords. In the reverse position would be like almost the denial of a thought, or like shutting that thought down, or like not starting off on like a new, like pursuing it. And this is changing. Sometimes it's time. Sometimes it can also talk about like a shift in like how you think about something, which makes me think that it's SUNOO that like has almost like an epiphany. The King of Cups, the King of Emotions, it's heartbreak, Ace of Pentacles. And then, and that's like receiving a reward. At some point, I feel like something's going to change about their dynamic. It'll be for the better. I could see SUNGHOON confiding in SUNOO about this. Maybe not like, hey, I have a crush on you, but more so just like an open question about like, have you ever like thought about like, I don't know, like dating a guy or something like that. More as like a casual conversation, and then SUNOO was like, oh, like tea, like catches like the vibe, you know? I could see this creating actually a rift in their relationship, because SUNOO's sort of like, I don't know what to do. But in the end, it'll bring them closer together. I mean, like, SUNOO seems like a very nice guy. Like, just super nice. Like, very aware, really practical, but, like, able to, like, go to, like, really interesting places, like, creatively and, like, imaginatively. It's sort of, it would be the equivalent of, like, SUNGHOON is, like, earth energy. Very stable, very smart, very, like, practical and pragmatic. SUNOO is, like, playful and colorful and, like, you know, is like lighter energy. It's like air. It can like take you places. Their dynamic is really fun, I think, because of that. It's very like it seems like there's going to be like a shift in it. It'll be for the betterment though. I think it'll make SUNOO closer to SUNGHOON. I don't really see them like getting together. I don't see anything like that. I mean, they're professionals. They're like, you know, co-workers, I think, first and foremost, but they are friends. Really close friends. I know this reads like a K-drama. I'm just reading the energy, but this is like what's the word? Like improving like on your delusions. So it's sort of like things start to become more realistic, more practical on SUNGHOON's side. This is like defensiveness, and this is like the lovers. I really feel like SUNOO could like help SUNGHOON directly or indirectly with maybe some of the thoughts or feelings that he's having just around his sexuality. And the thing is, I don't necessarily know if SUNOO is particularly sexually liberated. It's more just like he just naturally is just sort of like an open guy and more like willing to like think about things. Not to speculate on anybody's, you know, sexuality here. But overall, it just seems like their relationship, I feel like SUNOO is going through something. I feel like SUNGHOON is doing a lot of contemplation and just very unsure maybe about their sexuality, or maybe just how their feelings towards SUNOO at the very least. I think their relationship it's like friends. They don't really think about it. There's nothing hard. There's nothing really like conflicting between the two, other than SUNOO somewhat, you know, speculating is like there's something going on with SUNGHOON. But like overall, I see their relationship changing. This seems like it'll happen next year, or maybe like late this year. And I think it'll maybe have to do with some of the thoughts that SUNGHOON is having. And SUNOO will take it very well, and SUNGHOON will get kind of scared. And I know that reads like a K-drama, I'm sorry, like, I don't know what to tell you. Well, I mean, I wish both of them well. I wish both of them so much good luck.